stabbing in Paris has led to a murder charge for a Cynthiana man.
Beautiful weather continues, but the weekend is getting closer, and so too are the rain chances. We'll break those down when I come back in a few minutes.
UK fans are fired up for basketball season to tip off. Today, John Calipari and several players talked about it at SEC Media Day. We're in Charlotte, North Carolina with the highlights now at 4.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. WKYT News starts now with breaking news.
Good afternoon. At least 3 people are injured after a building collapse in Jessamine County. I'm Jennifer Palumbo. The accident happened just about an hour ago, just inside Jessamine County on East Brandon Road near the Fayette County line. We're told one person had to be pulled from the rubble. WKYT's Garrett Weimer is live at the scene with the breaking details. Garrett?
Yes, that happened here at this apartment complex at the end of East Brandon Road, still under construction here. We're told it was a wooden structure, a small mail kiosk that you can see over my shoulder here that workers were working on, and they told fire officials out here that a strong gust of wind came and just knocked it down. One person was trapped underneath that and could not get out. We're told the other workers were unable to lift the wood and pieces off of him, so a collapse rescue team came out here. We're told it was a pretty quick rescue, but 3 people were taken to UK hospital with what we're told are minor injuries. Now, the apartment complex is not allowing us on the property, so this is close as we are allowed to get, but as you might be able to see in the background, the construction on everything else around that mail kiosk is still continuing, and the emergency crews have now cleared the scene. Live in Jessamine County, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Thank you, Garrett. We'll bring you updates from Jessamine County as we get them. We are in for big changes as we roll into the weekend in the weather. Here's a live picture of downtown Lexington, where it's another picture-perfect fall day with sunny skies and warmer temperatures. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has a first look at the forecast. Chris?
Yeah, it looks good out there. Feels even better for your outdoors. Take full advantage of it. Sun-filled sky downtown Lexington, over top of Hamburg Pavilion as well. 73 mild degrees as of right now. Those winds are cranking. You were hearing those winds just a little bit ago in Garrett's microphone out there, coming at us from the southwest at around 10 miles an hour, though the occasional gust of 15 to 20 miles per hour. Temperatures across the entire area generally ranging from 70 to 75 degrees. Get used to that for the next several days. High pressure and control of the weather in the short term. That high across parts of the Carolinas will eventually give way to big changes. That does not include tonight's forecast, though. Out and about this evening, we drop it slowly from the 65-degree mark into the mid and upper 50s between 7 and 11 o'clock. When I come back in about 15 minutes, Jennifer, we're going to focus on those big changes that do start to show up for the weekend, and then even bigger changes lurking for the final week of October. It's a busy 7-day forecast in a few.
Thanks, Chris. We're learning new details this afternoon about the victim and the suspect in a late-night murder in central Kentucky. Police say Jonathan Scaff, a former Navy sailor, was stabbed to death outside a home on Crest Court in Paris about 11 last night. Now, Daniel Martin is charged with murder. WKYT's Victor Puente has the latest in our top story at 4.
The family of the man who was killed says he was here in Paris visiting his 18-month-old daughter. According to Jonathan Scaff's family, the 27-year-old Berea man was visiting his daughter at his estranged wife's home on Crest Court when he was attacked by her boyfriend, Daniel Martin. Scaff's family says he was planning to file for divorce, but he was visiting his wife to work out the weeks when he would have custody of his daughter. According to Bourbon County court records, Scaff was arrested at the home in July for assault against his wife. As part of the conditions of his bond, he wasn't supposed to be at the home or have any contact with her. His family tells us he was stabbed by Martin when he stepped out of the house around 11 p.m. Police say Martin was captured an hour and a half later when canines found him hiding under a truck 3/4 of a mile away. Scaff's family tells us he was stabbed by Martin at least 6 times. Daniel Martin is from Cynthiana. He's charged with murder and tampering with physical evidence. We called the jail to see if he'd like to talk about the stabbing. He denied our request for an interview. In Bourbon County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Scaff's family tells us they need help paying for his funeral. They've set up a donation fund at People's Bank in Berea. A prayer vigil will be held tonight in Maysville for the 5 victims killed in a devastating fire. A couple tried desperately to save their 5 children from the fire, but they were overwhelmed by the heat and smoke. Police say Lori Doppelhuer died along with 3 of her children, ages 10, 3, and 1. Her 15-year-old and 7-year-old daughters were able to escape. A neighbor, 68-year-old Larry Brickles, also died in the fire. The fire destroyed 3 homes and damaged 2 others. We'll have more in tonight's vigil on WKYT News at 5. It's no surprise the Kentucky Wildcats are the media's preseason pick to win the Southeastern Conference. Coach John Calipari and several players talking about the upcoming season today at the annual SEC Media Day. Lee K. Howard is in Charlotte and joins us with our Big Blue coverage.
Afternoon and welcome to Charlotte for the SEC tip-off. The SEC, of course, traditionally thought of as a football conference, but a year ago, the SEC put 5 teams in the NCAA basketball tournament. That's the most that it had in 5 years, and it looks as if this season it may not just be Kentucky and then everybody else.
Well, you got Vanderbilt right now, you got LSU, you got Texas A&M. I think those 3 teams right now could easily win our league. You know, and they're all different in the kind of teams they are. Texas A&M is really deep and it's got size. Ben Simmons is an unbelievable young player, and then the other guys they have coming back, and then Vanderbilt can score. So you got those teams, and then you got Georgia with good guards. And I always say, you have good guards, you have a chance.
And of course, the Wildcats will have a chance, being that they have the best collection of guards in the country. No surprise, the Wildcats were picked first in the preseason rankings, and Tyler Eulis and Scala Bissiere both picked on the preseason first team. Here in Charlotte at the SEC tip-off, Lee K. Howard, WKYT.
Thank you, Lee K. And we'll have more from Charlotte on WKYT News at 5. Our reporters are working on a number of other stories for WKYT starting at 4:30. Amber Philpott is in the newsroom with a look at some more of the news in progress. Hi, Amber.
Hi, Jennifer. Police have arrested a man accused of shooting an officer in Floyd County. State police say Robert Powers ran from a traffic stop last night to a home on Abbott Creek. Powers shot Prestonsburg officer Adam Dixon in the chest before state police say he barricaded himself in a home. After several hours, police went into the home and arrested Powers, who had also been shot. He's charged with attempted murder of a police officer. We've learned Officer Dixon was flown to a hospital in West Virginia. His condition has not been released, but state police said he is stable. We'll have more from Floyd County coming up on WKYT News at 5:30. One of the people accused of murdering a man at a Pulaski County rental cabin was in court today. Jesse Brown is charged with murder. Police say the victim, Danny Poor, was found dead in a rental cabin at Pulaski County Park. 2 others have also been charged in the case. We'll have more from court on Brown's preliminary hearing ahead on WKYT News at 4:30. And tonight, the Garrett County High School Choir will share the stage with iconic rock band Foreigner. The students were chosen as part of the Rock Then Roll for Your School contest. The concert will take place tonight at 7:30 at the Norton Center for the Arts at Center College. The choir will also receive $1,000 in scholarship money. We'll have more on their performance ahead on WKYT News at 6. That is a look at some of the news in progress. Jennifer, back to you.
Thanks, Amber. Now to stories making headlines across the nation at 4. This afternoon, Vice President Joe Biden announced he will not seek the Democratic nomination for president. And Congressman Paul Ryan announced he is willing to run in next week's election to select the new Speaker of the House. Polo Sandoval has the latest developments in the nation's capital.
Unfortunately, I believe we're out of time, the time necessary to mount a winning campaign for the nomination.
The vice president took to the White House Rose Garden, sharing what was perhaps the most awaited decision in Washington. The window for a Biden bid for president has closed. Flanked by his wife and President Obama, Vice President Biden promised he won't stay silent leading up to next year's presidential election.
We intend to spend the next 15 months fighting for what we've always cared about. I am absolutely certain we are fully capable of accomplishing extraordinary things.
The vice president's decision not to run is only the latest highly anticipated announcement out of Washington this week. Outgoing House Speaker John Boehner scheduled to vote next week to elect a successor, ending weeks of leadership limbo on Capitol Hill.
The conference election for Speaker will be next Wednesday, and the 28th, and on Thursday, the 29th, the election will occur on the floor.
Wisconsin Congressman Paul Ryan finally agreed to run as long as some conditions are met, including full support from his party and a schedule that doesn't interfere with his family time.
I have left this decision in their hands. And should they agree with these requests, then I am happy and I am willing to get to work.
These key decisions from both Biden and Ryan could provide some stability in a political season that's already proven to be full of surprises. Reporting in Washington, I'm Polo Sandoval.
Wall Street ends the day lower with energy and healthcare stocks falling. The Dow down 49 points to 17,169. The Nasdaq lost 41. Scammers are now going after people waiting to get the new chip-embedded credit cards. Banks have switched to the cards because they're supposed to be more secure. But a September survey showed almost 60% of users haven't gotten their cards yet. The uneven distribution is leaving a window open for scammers. They're sending fake emails telling users they need to update their credit card account by confirming personal information. But don't give it to them. If you get an email and you're not sure if it's legit, call the phone number on the back of your card. Electronic and transmission systems are causing reliability ratings to slip for some automakers. A new survey by Consumer Reports finds Acura is the latest brand to drop sharply for overall predicted reliability because of problems with electronic systems such as dual-clutch gearboxes or transmissions with 8 or 9 speeds. Consumer Reports says Ford, Nissan, and Fiat Chrysler have already seen lower scores because of similar problems. This may be the perfect way for the selfie generation to pay. MasterCard is testing a new mobile app that allows shoppers to authorize transactions with a selfie. No passwords or thumbprints needed. Right now, about 200 people are testing the app. There's no word yet on when or if it will be available to everyone. McDonald's could be going Monster. Mickey D's is testing Monster drinks at about 20 locations in the U.S. Monster is known for its caffeinated energy drinks. McDonald's is trying to jolt slumping sales. Earlier this month, it also began making breakfast, including Egg McMuffins, available all day.
Well, focusing on Tates Creek and New Circle, looks like that collision's not going to be a big problem getting past outbound Tates Creek Road, approaching the Lansdowne shops. Also, I-75 north and southbound looks good right now. Of course, the Valley Ferry is closed today for maintenance, so it looks like folks taking the Clays Ferry Bridge across as usual in the Madison County. As far as the north side is concerned, the heaviest traffic is on Newtown Pike now, approaching Andino to Citation out to the interstate. Now back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Don. 2 Kentucky boys making it big in Nashville are back on the road with some new music.
Deanne Stevens out and about today with our buddies Halfway to Hazard. Hi, Deanne.
Good afternoon, guys. We are here in our iHeart Live Lounge where we are catching up with some of our Kentucky favorites. Halfway to Hazard, Chad and David with us. We love seeing you guys, and I love your story because you're kind of back together, back on the road, back working it again.
That's right. That's why we're out here. We're out here just making sure that people remember who we are and winning over new fans, too.
Well, now, you've been together, still doing charity stuff over the years, but now we got some new music to add to that.
Yeah, that was the focus of 2015. Was to get in the studio, write, record new songs, new album, get a single out on radio, and let people know that we're ready to conquer the world. So
I love watching you guys on social media and all that you're doing, and you're pretty pumped about this, aren't you, David?
I am.
Go ahead, David. What are you pumped about?
I'm pumped about this.
You make doing interviews so easy.
No,
you want to put that back up like you had it? This is how he wanted me to start the interview. Was like this.
David doesn't look directly at the camera. No, it's exciting, man. It's great to have a one chance in the music business. Really, you're just gonna laugh at me the whole time. This is awesome. You can tell we've been together a lot. No, it's great. It's nice to have a second, maybe even a third chance in this industry, and we're going to take full advantage of it. And we're so excited about the new single, Heaven on Down the Highway. And I just want to.
So many people are excited about it, though. I mean, your fan base, not just here in Kentucky.
Like our family.
Your cousins, your siblings. Yeah, tens of people. Really, a lot of excitement surrounding Heaven on Down the Highway. 98.1 The Bull, going to be playing it very soon. You can listen to us for that. But you tune in here at 450, you're going to hear it yourself. Tell them, come on back.
Right here, come on.
Right here.
In the live lounge. 450.
I'm Deanne Stevens, out and about with these crazy two. Halfway to Hazard. Back to you guys.
It's time for better living, health education, and consumer news that impacts your life. People who sit a lot during the day may be at risk for chronic kidney disease. Researchers at the University of Utah studied nearly 6,000 adults. They found that each 80-minute increase in sedentary behavior can lead to a 20% increase in the likelihood of chronic kidney disease. Researchers may have found another use for Botox. The drug, known for reducing facial wrinkles, may prevent irregular heartbeat when it's injected into fat surrounding the heart after bypass surgery. Transient ischemic attacks, or TIAs, are often called mini strokes because their symptoms are the same as a stroke, but they go away in a few minutes. But as Linda Champa explains, they could be a warning sign for a bigger issue.
TIAs, or transient ischemic attacks, happen when a blood clot or tight vessel cuts off blood flow to the brain for a short time. TIAs only last a few minutes, but they're a red flag for future stroke.
About 10% of patients who had TIAs will have a real stroke within 90 days.
Signs and symptoms of TIAs are sudden and the same as those of stroke: numbness or weakness on one side of the body, confusion or trouble speaking, trouble with vision, dizziness or loss of balance, or severe headache with no known cause.
It's extremely important to take these signs seriously, even though they've resolved and you're maybe back to your baseline. It's extremely, extremely important to take this seriously and seek medical attention as soon as possible.
Depending on the underlying issue, treatment for TIAs can range from lifestyle changes such as stopping smoking, eating a heart-healthy diet, and exercising, to medications that prevent clots or lower cholesterol, or, as in John Peterson's case, surgery.
That technique was able to resolve a number of the symptoms and prevent a major catastrophic stroke from happening.
In Boston, Massachusetts, I'm Linda Champa,